I stood frozen in the shadows of the backstage area, my heart pounding as my sister's voice filled the venue with my words, my melody, my soul. The private showcase was packed with industry executives, and Hannah owned every inch of that stage, belting out the song I'd poured my heart into for months. My name is Jennifer, and I just watched my sister steal my dream. That's the one, Leon whispered beside me, his eyes gleaming. That's the hit that's going to launch her career. He squeezed my shoulder, either oblivious to or ignoring my trembling. I shrugged his hand off. That's my song, I hissed through clenched teeth. I wrote it in my bedroom last month, you know that. Leon's expression hardened. Jennifer, we've talked about this. You're a brilliant songwriter, but Hannah has the stage presence, the look, the whole package. This is what's best for everyone. The audience erupted in applause as Hannah finished the final note. My song, my story, my pain, all wrapped up in her perfect package with a bow on top. I pushed past Leon and stormed toward the dressing room, nearly colliding with Victoria, my best friend and only ally in this snake pit of an industry. Jen, wait, she called after me, but I was already shoving open the dressing room door. Hannah sat at the vanity, touching up her lipstick. She caught my reflection in the mirror and smiled. Baby sis, did you hear them out there? They loved it. How could you? My voice cracked. We promised when we were kids, no stealing each other's songs, ever. Hannah spun around on her chair, still wearing that infuriating smile. This isn't stealing, Jen. This is collaboration. You write, I perform. We're a team. A team? I laughed bitterly. Teams don't go behind each other's backs. You didn't even ask me. Because you would have said no. Hannah stood up, her heels clicking on the floor as she approached me. You would have hidden that beautiful song away in your little notebook, like you do with all of them. Some things are too good to stay hidden, sis. That wasn't your choice to make. I felt tears threatening, but I refused to let them fall. That song was personal. About Dad's death, and I gave it the platform it deserves. Hannah grabbed my hands. Listen to me. You're not ready for the spotlight. You get nervous ordering coffee for God's sake, but together, we could be unstoppable. I yanked my hands away. You had no right. The door opened and Leon walked in, followed by Victoria. Leon clapped his hands together. Ladies, we have some very excited executives out there. Hannah, they want to discuss recording options. Perfect. Hannah beamed, gathering her things. She paused at the door. Jen, don't be mad. This is good for both of us, you'll see. As she left with Leon, Victoria wrapped an arm around my shoulders. That was brutal. Are you okay? I wiped my eyes. She's been doing this our whole lives, taking what's mine because she thinks she deserves it more, but this time… I shook my head. This time she went too far. So what are you going to do about it? Before I could answer, Leon poked his head back in. Jennifer, a word? Victoria squeezed my arm and left us alone. Leon closed the door. I know you're upset, he started. Upset doesn't begin to cover it. But this is the music business. It's not about fairness, it's about what sells. Hannah has that spark, that thing that makes people want to watch her. You're brilliant behind the scenes, but you're not ready for the spotlight. So you're just going to let her take credit for my work? Leon sighed. The song will be credited to you as a writer. You'll get your royalties. But Hannah needs this win. The label needs this win. Sometimes we have to sacrifice our pride for the greater good. I stared at him, this man who'd promised to look out for both of us when we signed with him 2 years ago. The greater good? Or your commission? His jaw tightened. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. Take some time to cool off. And Jennifer? He paused at the door. Don't do anything stupid. Hannah's career is about to take off, and you don't want to be the one who ruins it for her. As the door clicked shut behind him, I sank into the chair Hannah had vacated. My reflection stared back at me. The quiet sister, the sensible one, the one who was supposed to be content staying in the shadows. Not anymore. I pulled out my phone and opened my contacts. It was time to remind everyone that even quiet people have voices, and mine was about to get very, very loud. Victoria's apartment became my sanctuary over the next few days. I couldn't bear to be in the studio where Hannah was recording my song. Couldn't stomach watching her social media explode with praise for her breakthrough single. "You need to eat something," Victoria said, sliding a plate of toast across her kitchen counter. "Starving yourself won't fix this." I pushed the plate away. "I need to fix this." But how? Nobody's going to believe me over Hannah. She's got Leon, the label, everyone wrapped around her finger. Victoria's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and her eyes widened. "Speaking of Hannah," she turned the screen toward me. My sister was doing a live interview, wearing the same necklace I'd given her for her birthday last year. "The song came from a very personal place," Hannah was saying, her eyes misting up perfectly on cue. "Losing our father last year, it just poured out of me one night. Music has always been my way of processing grief." The mug in my hand shattered against the wall before I even realized I'd thrown it. "Okay," Victoria said, grabbing paper towels. "That's it. We're done playing defense. Call Chase." "Chase? The producer?" "He's been trying to work with you for months. Hannah and Leon kept blocking it, remember? Maybe it's time to find out why." My hands shook as I dialed his number. He answered on the second ring. "Jennifer, this is unexpected. Chase, I need your help. That song Hannah's performing? It's mine. I can prove it." Silence stretched for a moment. Then, "Meet me at Riverside Coffee in an hour. Come alone." The cafe was quiet when I arrived. Chase sat in a corner booth, 2 coffees already waiting. He looked exactly like his producer headshot, salt and pepper hair, kind eyes behind thick-rimmed glasses. "Show me," he said as I sat down. I pulled out my phone, opened my voice memos and played the original demo I'd recorded in my bedroom. My voice, raw and untrained but honest, filled our little corner. When it finished, Chase leaned back. "I knew it," he said. "The lyrics were too intimate, too personal for Hannah. She's a performer, not a poet." He studied me. "Why didn't you fight for it?" "I tried, but Leon Whitney is a shark who cares about numbers, not nurturing talent." Chase pulled out his laptop. "Listen to this." He played a track, something haunting and beautiful. "Who is that?" I asked. "Noel Wilkins. He's been underground for a while, but he's planning a comeback. And he needs a songwriter." My heart skipped. "You want me to write for him?" "I want you to work with him privately. No contracts, no Leon, no paper trail. Yet," Chase's eyes glinted, "build something undeniable then, when the time is right." "We reveal everything," I finished, understanding dawning. "Exactly, but Jennifer." His expression turned serious. "This won't be easy. Hannah and Leon will try to shut it down if they find out. Are you ready for that fight?" I thought about Hannah's interview, about her wearing my necklace while claiming my pain as her own. More than ready. That night, I got a text from my mom. "Hannah's song is beautiful, sweetheart. Your father would be so proud of both his girls." I didn't respond. Instead, I called Victoria. "I'm in," I said when she answered. "Chase is setting up a meeting with Noel Wilkins. We're going to work in secret." "Noel Wilkins? The guy who disappeared after that scandal with his old label? That's him. Chase thinks we're a perfect match." "Perfect for what exactly?" I smiled into the phone. "For showing everyone what really happens when you steal from the quiet girl." A knock at my door made me jump. Hannah stood there when I opened it, looking uncertain. "Can we talk?" she asked. "Now you want to talk." "I saw Mum's text. You didn't respond." She stepped inside uninvited. "Are you really going to punish the whole family because you're mad at me?" "Mad at you?" I laughed. "Hannah, you stole my story about Dad. You're performing it like it's your pain, your loss. That's not anger, that's betrayal." "I'm making it successful. The label loves it, the fans love it. Get out. Jen, get out." After she left, I texted Chase. "When can I meet Noel?" His response came quickly. "Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Studio B at Blackwood Records. Come ready to work." I looked at my reflection in the window, at the quiet girl everyone underestimated. "Ready to work," I whispered to myself. "Ready to fight." Tomorrow couldn't come soon enough. Blackwood Records Studio B felt different from the polished spaces I was used to. No fancy artwork on the walls, no expensive coffee machine in the corner, just well-worn equipment and a lingering scent of stale cigarettes. Noel Wilkins sat at the mixing board, his back to me when I entered. He didn't turn around. "You're Jennifer?" His voice was rougher than I expected. "Yes." Chase said. Chase says a lot of things. He swiveled his chair around. Dark eyes studied me from beneath messy black hair. He says you're worth my time, that you've got something real. I pulled my notebook from my bag. "I have songs." "I don't want to see your songs." He stood up, towering over me. "I want to know why you're here." "Because my sister stole my work." "No." He stepped closer. "Why are you really here? Revenge, justice, fame?" "I'm here because music is the only thing that makes sense to me anymore." The words tumbled out before I could stop them. Because when my dad died, songs were the only way I could breathe. And Hannah took that breath and sold it like it was hers. Noel's expression softened slightly. "Play something. Not the stolen song. Something new." I sat at the piano in the corner, my fingers hovering over the keys. The melody came naturally, something I'd been working on since the showcase, raw and angry and hurt. When I finished, the silence felt heavy. "Again," Noel said, "but this time don't hold back." I played it again, letting my voice crack on the high notes, letting the anger seep through. When I looked up, Noel was smiling. "Now that," he said, "is worth my time." He told me his story as we worked. How his former producer had stolen his songs, claimed Noel was just the voice. How the industry had believed the producer over him. "Is that why you disappeared?" I asked, adjusting a chord progression. "I disappeared because I was angry. Stupid." He shook his head. "Should have fought back instead of running. And now? Now I'm ready. Question is, are you?" He played back what we'd recorded. "Because this plan of Chase's, it's going to get ugly." "It's already ugly." I showed him Hannah's latest Instagram post. Her performing my song at another showcase, the comments gushing about her songwriting talent. "Your sister's good," he admitted. "The way she sells those lyrics. She almost makes me believe they're hers. That's what makes it worse. She takes something real and makes it performative." We worked until evening, crafting something new, something that couldn't be mistaken for Hannah's style. As I packed up, Noel stopped me. "One condition," he said. "No more playing small. If we do this, you have to be willing to step into the spotlight. No hiding behind other voices." "I'm not ready for—" "Neither was I at first." He handed me a flash drive. "Listen to these. My first demos. Scared, uncertain, raw, just like you, but real." My phone buzzed. Leon calling. I declined it. "He won't stop, you know," Noel warned. "The minute he suspects something. Let him try." I surprised myself with my conviction. I'm done being the quiet one. Victoria was waiting outside the studio. "Well, how is he?" "Intense, broken, perfect." I smiled. "We're doing this." My phone buzzed again. A text from Hannah. "Where are you? Leon's freaking out. Says you're not answering his calls. Don't do anything stupid, Jen." "Delete it," Noel said, appearing behind me. "No distractions. Tomorrow, same time." I nodded, then deleted the message without responding. That night, I listened to Noel's demos. His voice, younger and unsure, sang about betrayal and loss and finding strength. The final track was different. A voice memo. "Music isn't just about talent," his recorded voice said. "It's about truth. They can steal our songs, but they can't steal our truth. Remember that, Jennifer." I opened my notebook and started writing, the words flowing easier than they had in weeks. This wasn't just about exposing Hannah anymore. It was about finding my voice, really finding it, and making sure it was too loud to ignore. My phone lit up with another text, this time from Chase. "How did it go with Noel?" I replied. "We're ready. What's next?" His response came quickly. "Award ceremony is in 6 weeks. That's our stage. That's when everyone learns the truth. 6 weeks to create something undeniable. 6 weeks to find my courage. 6 weeks to change everything. I looked at my reflection in the window again, but this time I didn't see the quiet girl anymore. I saw someone ready to make some noise. 4 weeks into our secret sessions, and Hannah's version of my song was climbing the charts. I watched her perform it on morning television while Noel and I worked on our response in Studio B. "She's been nominated for Best Breakthrough Artist," Victoria announced, bursting into the studio. "At the Industry Choice Awards." Noel's fingers stilled on the guitar strings. "Perfect. That's our moment." "Our moment to what?" Victoria asked. "Crash her acceptance speech." "Something like that." I played back our latest recording, a song that wove my stolen melody into something new, something that exposed the theft while creating its own identity. The studio door opened again. Leon walked in. "Well, well." He looked around the shabby studio. "This is where you've been hiding." Noel stepped between us. "She's not hiding. She's working." "With a has-been?" Leon laughed. "Jennifer, come on. Hannah's worried sick about you. The family's falling apart, and for what? So you can throw a tantrum with—" He waved dismissively at Noel. "This." "Get out," I said quietly. "Excuse me." "Get out of my studio." Leon's face hardened. "Your studio? This dump? You know what? Fine. Play your little rebellion game. But know this. If you try anything that hurts Hannah's career, I'll make sure you never work in this industry again." After he left, Victoria touched my arm. "You okay?" "No." I turned to Noel. "We need to work faster." We spent the next 12 hours recording, refining, building our case. Noel shared stories about his own experience with betrayal as we worked. "My producer was like family," he said during a break. "That's what made it worse. He kept saying it was for my own good, that I wasn't ready to be known as a songwriter. Like Leon with me." "Exactly. They think they're protecting us, but really they're just controlling us." He played a few chords. "The industry's full of people who mistake ownership for mentorship." My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Family dinner tonight. No excuses. We need to talk about this." "Go," Noel said. "Family's important, even when they're wrong." The house I grew up in felt smaller now. Hannah's car was already in the driveway when I arrived. Mom opened the door before I could knock. "Finally," she said, pulling me into a hug. "My girls are home." Hannah sat at the dining table looking uncomfortable. "Hey, sis." "Hannah." Mom served Dad's favourite pasta recipe. A peace offering. "This has gone on long enough," she said. "Your sisters, whatever this is about." "It's about theft," I cut in. "About betrayal." "It's about opportunity," Hannah countered. "About not letting pride get in the way of success." "Pride? You stole my song about Dad." "I made it successful. Look what's happening. The nominations, the recognition. This is what Dad would have wanted." "Don't," I stood up. "Don't you dare use him to justify this." "Girls," Mom pleaded, "please." "You want to know what Dad would have wanted?" I continued. "He would have wanted honesty. Remember what he always said about music? About how it should come from truth." Hannah's face fell. "Jen, Save it." I headed for the door. "You'll hear the truth soon enough. Everyone will." Back at the studio, Noel was still working. He looked up as I entered. "Family dinner go well?" "About as well as yours probably did." He nodded, understanding. "Listen to this." He played our latest version, now with added layers, harmonies that highlighted the original melody's theft while creating something hauntingly new. "It's perfect," I whispered. "Almost. It needs one more thing." He handed me headphones. "Your voice, no hiding this time." I stepped into the booth, heart pounding. As the music started, I closed my eyes and thought of Dad, of how he'd taught both Hannah and me to play guitar, of how he'd always said music was about honesty before anything else. When I finished, I opened my eyes to find Noel grinning. "That's it," he said. "That's our weapon." My phone lit up. Another text from Hannah. "Whatever you're planning, please don't. We can fix this another way." 2 weeks until the awards, Noel said, watching me read the message. "No turning back now. I deleted Hannah's text without responding. No turning back. As I left the studio that night, Leon was waiting by my car. Last chance, he said. Walk away now. Let your sister have her moment. I met his gaze. You know what, Leon? You were right about one thing. I'm not ready for the spotlight. I got into my car. I was born for it. His face in my rearview mirror as I drove away told me everything. The war was about to begin. Ms. Santiago? The voice caught me off guard as I left Studio B. A young woman with a press badge stepped out of the shadows. I'm Sydney from Music Weekly. Can we talk? I tried to brush past her. No comment. I know about the original demo. She kept pace with me. The one you recorded in your bedroom the night after your father's funeral. That stopped me. How did you... I'm good at my job. Sydney pulled out her phone. And I'm very interested in why your sister's breakthrough hit sounds remarkably similar to a voice memo you sent to 3 friends 6 months ago. Noel appeared behind us. Inside. Now. In the studio, Sydney laid out her evidence. Screenshots, timestamps, old social media posts where I'd referenced working on a special song about Dad. Why are you showing us this? Noel asked. Because I hate frauds. Sydney's eyes flashed. And because every great story needs proof. I exchanged looks with Noel. What exactly are you proposing? Let me help. I can build the paper trail, document everything. When you make your move at the awards show, you'll need more than just your word against hers. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Victoria. Turn on entertainment tonight, now. Noel flipped on the studio's small TV. Hannah was being interviewed wearing a locket with Dad's picture in it. My locket. The song just poured out of me, she was saying. Losing Dad. It changed everything. Music became my therapy. Sydney was already taking notes. That locket isn't hers, is it? It was a gift from our father, I said quietly. To me. For my birthday last year. Perfect. Sydney smiled. The devil's in the details. Later that night, over coffee at a quiet diner, Sydney showed me her draft article. I won't publish until after the awards show, she promised. But everything's ready. The timeline, the evidence, even interviews with people who heard your original version. Who? Your barista from the coffee shop where you used to write, the guitar teacher who helped you with the bridge, small people who remember big details. Noel read over my shoulder. This is good. Really good. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Hannah's doing a pre-awards interview tomorrow. Please come. She wants to make peace. Don't go, Noel warned. It's a trap. But I went anyway. The interview was at our old high school auditorium where Hannah and I used to perform in talent shows. She was already on stage when I arrived, doing sound check. You came. Leon intercepted me at the door. Good. Hannah has a proposition for you. On stage, Hannah spotted me and waved. Jen, come up here. Under the bright lights, she hugged me tight. I miss you, sis. What do you want, Hannah? She glanced at the waiting interviewer. I want to make this right. Let's tell our story together. How we collaborated on the song, how it brought us closer after Dad. Collaborated? I stepped back. That's your solution? More lies? It's not a lie. We've always made music together. This is just formalizing it. By stealing my song and now trying to steal my story too. Ladies, the interviewer called, we're ready. Hannah grabbed my hand. Please, Jen, we can split the credit, split everything. Just don't what? Don't tell the truth? Leon stepped onto the stage. Think carefully about your next move, Jennifer. Some bridges once burned. I pulled away from Hannah. You're wearing my locket. She touched it defensively. I just borrowed it for... Keep it. Keep everything. I headed for the exit. But remember this moment, when you had a chance to tell the truth and chose not to. Sydney was waiting outside. How'd it go? They offered to split the credit. And? I smiled. Let's add it to your article. Show how they tried to buy my silence. Back at Studio B, Noel was working on final touches for our awards show performance. He looked up as I entered. They tried to bribe you, didn't they? With my own song. I sat at the piano. Play it again. I want to make it perfect. As we worked, Sydney set up her recording equipment. For posterity, she said. When this story breaks, people will want to know every detail. My phone lit up with texts from Mom, from Hannah, from Leon. I turned it off. 1 week until the awards, Noel said. You ready? I thought about Hannah wearing my locket, telling my story, living my truth. More than ready. It's time everyone heard the real song. The real story, the real me. The night before the awards show, I couldn't sleep. Victoria found me at Dad's grave, sitting cross-legged with my guitar. Thought I'd find you here, she said, sitting beside me. Noel's looking everywhere for you. Final rehearsal, remember? I keep thinking about what Dad would say. I strummed quietly, about all of this. He'd say, Jennifer. Hannah's voice cut through the darkness. She stood a few feet away, still in her rehearsal clothes. We need to talk. Victoria stood protectively. I think you've said enough. Please, Hannah's voice cracked. 5 minutes. Alone. After Victoria reluctantly left, Hannah sat where she had been. Neither of us spoke for a moment, both staring at Dad's headstone. Remember when we used to sing his favourite songs here? Hannah finally said. Before you decided fame was more important than truth? That's not fair. No. I turned to face her. Then give me back my locket. My song. My story. She touched the locket at her neck. I can't. The label Leon, everything's in motion, the nominations. Built on lies. Built on talent, mine and yours. She grabbed my hand. Please don't do whatever you're planning tomorrow. We can figure this out. Like you figured out how to steal my song. I made it successful. The whole industry is talking about it. About us. About you. I pulled my hand away. They're talking about you. My phone buzzed. Noel calling. Hannah saw his name and laughed bitterly. So that's your revenge? Working with another failed artist? No. I stood up. My revenge is the truth, and tomorrow everyone will hear it. Back at Studio B, Noel was pacing. Where were you? We need to... Play it again, I interrupted. One more time. He studied my face, then nodded. The music filled the room. Our answer to Hannah's theft, our weapon of truth. It's ready, he said when it ended. We're ready. Sydney burst in, waving her phone. You need to see this. Hannah just went live on Instagram. We huddled around her screen. Hannah was in her bedroom crying. I just want my sister back, she was saying. Music was our connection to Dad, and now she's trying to destroy everything because of jealousy. Turn it off, I said. Wait, Sydney was typing furiously. The comments, people are taking sides. This could work in our favour. The bigger the drama now, the bigger the impact tomorrow, Noel finished. My phone lit up with a text from Leon. Last chance. Back off now, or your career is over before it begins. I showed it to Noel. He smiled grimly. He's scared. Good. Victoria returned with coffee and news. Security schedule for tomorrow. I got it from my friend who works at the venue. We spread the papers across the mixing board, planning every detail. The performance order changed, Sydney noted. Hannah's acceptance speech, they're assuming she'll win, is right before the final commercial break. Perfect timing, Noel said. Right when everyone's watching. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time. Whatever's happening between you girls, please don't let it happen in public. Dad wouldn't want this. Dad wouldn't want lies, I whispered. Dawn was breaking when we finally finished rehearsing. Victoria hugged me goodbye. Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be intense. But as I headed for my car, Hannah was waiting in the parking lot. One last time, she said. Don't do this. Or what? Or I'll tell everyone how you've been spiraling since Dad died. How you're confused, mixing up memories, how the song was always mine, and you just helped with some lyrics. The slap echoed in the empty lot. My hand stung as Hannah touched her cheek in shock. That's how far you'll go? I asked. Gaslighting your own sister? I'm protecting everything we've built. No, you're protecting yourself. And tomorrow, that protection ends. As she drove away, Noel appeared beside me. You okay? No. I watched Hannah's taillights disappear. But I will be. After tomorrow. Get some sleep, he said. The war starts in 12 hours. Back home, I opened my laptop and found an old video. Dad teaching Hannah and me to play guitar, both of us laughing as we struggled with the chords. Music is truth, he was saying. Never forget that, girls. I closed the laptop and picked up my guitar. The sun was rising, painting my room in shades of gold. Tomorrow the truth would finally have its moment in the spotlight, and this time I wouldn't be hiding in the shadows. The Industry Choice Awards buzzed with nervous energy. From my hiding spot backstage, I watched Hannah work the red carpet, wearing my locket and a confident smile. 5 minutes, Noel whispered, adjusting his earpiece. Sydney's in position. Victoria squeezed my hand. Security's distracted. We're clear. The ceremony began. I watched on the backstage monitor as award after award was presented. Hannah sat in the front row, practicing her acceptance speech. Best Breakthrough Artist is up next, Sydney murmured through our earpieces. Everyone in position? My phone buzzed. Leon, I see you backstage. Don't be stupid. And the winner for Best Breakthrough Artist is... The presenter paused dramatically. Hannah Santiago. The audience erupted in applause. Hannah hugged Leon, then made her way to the stage, tears already glistening. Now, Noel commanded. I stepped into position behind the curtain as Hannah began her speech. This song came from the deepest part of my heart, she was saying. Losing our father. The first notes of our remix cut through her words. Hannah froze mid-sentence as my voice from the original demo filled the auditorium. What's happening? She whispered into the microphone. The curtain rose behind her. I stood there, guitar in hand, singing the truth. The audience fell silent as the two versions played together. Her polished theft and my raw original, weaving together in damning harmony. Hannah spun around. Jen, don't... I stepped forward, still singing, and unclasped her necklace, my locket, letting it fall between us. The cameras caught everything. Security! Leon shouted from the audience, but Sydney was already on stage with her press badge, filming everything. Other reporters followed. I switched to our new version, the song Noel and I had crafted. Hannah stood frozen as I sang about betrayal, about stolen grief, about a sister who valued fame over truth. The audience began to murmur as understanding dawned. Phones came out, recording everything. That's enough! Leon rushed the stage, but Noel blocked his path. Let her finish, he growled. I locked eyes with Hannah as I sang the final verse, words about forgiveness, about the cost of lies, about the weight of our father's memory. When the last note faded, the silence was deafening. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Soon the whole auditorium was on their feet, not for Hannah's performance, but for the truth they'd just witnessed. Hannah grabbed the microphone. This is ridiculous. She's just jealous. Play it, Sydney called. On the giant screens above the stage, a video montage began. My original demo recording, time-stamped months before Hannah's version. Text messages between Hannah and Leon plotting to take the song. Social media posts where I'd mentioned writing it. Stop this, Leon demanded, but the evidence kept coming. The guitar teacher describing how I'd worked on the bridge, the barista confirming I'd written it in his cafe, Hannah's own Instagram live from the night before, admitting there was a dispute over the song's ownership. Hannah turned to me, mascara running. You've ruined everything. No, I said into my microphone. You did that when you stole my truth. Security finally reached the stage, but it was too late. The story was out. Phones were buzzing with notifications as Sydney's article went live. Hannah? A reporter called out. Is it true you stole your sister's song? Another voice. Did you knowingly perform stolen material? And another. Was this all a publicity stunt? Through my earpiece, Victoria whispered, Your mum's here, front row. I found her in the audience, tears streaming down her face. She nodded once, a gesture of understanding, of support. Leon tried damage control. Ladies and gentlemen, this is clearly a family matter that you helped orchestrate, Noel cut in, his voice carrying, just like you did to me 5 years ago. More murmurs, more cameras, more truth. Hannah fled the stage. I watched her go, the Best Breakthrough Artist Award abandoned at the podium. "Jennifer," Sydney called out, "would you like to perform the real version, the original?" The audience cheered their encouragement. I looked at Noel, who nodded. "Show them who you really are." So I sat at the piano and played, really played, the song I'd written for Dad. No theatrics, no performance, just truth. When I finished, the standing ovation wasn't just for the music. It was for the courage to stand up, to speak out, to reclaim what was stolen. As the applause washed over me, I picked up my locket from where it had fallen. Inside, Dad's picture smiled at me. "Music is truth," I whispered his words. And finally, everyone knew mine. The morning after the awards show, I sat in Studio B, watching the chaos unfold on my phone. Song theft and sister betrayal were trending. Hannah's record label had issued a formal apology. Leon's other clients were dropping him by the hour. Victoria burst in, waving a contract. "3 labels want to sign you, real deals, with full creative control." "She's not signing anything today," Noel said, entering behind her. "Let the dust settle first." My phone rang. Hannah's number. I'd been avoiding her calls since last night. "Answer it," Victoria urged. "It's time." Hannah's voice was raw. "Can we meet? Please?" I suggested Dad's favourite diner. When I arrived, Hannah sat in our old booth, no makeup, no styling, just my sister looking lost. "I brought something," she said as I sat down. She slid a familiar notebook across the table, my songwriting journal. "I took it from your room last summer, that's how I found the song." "Why?" "Because you were always better at it than me." Her hands shook as she stirred her coffee. The writing, the emotion. I just wanted to be seen like that, to matter like that. "You mattered to me, to Dad." "Did I? He spent hours teaching you guitar, helping with your compositions. I was just the voice. So you stole my voice instead?" The waitress brought our usual orders. She'd known us since we were kids. "Your performance last night was beautiful, Jennifer. Your father would have been proud." After she left, Hannah wiped her eyes. "She's right. He would have been proud of you. I got lost somewhere between wanting success and needing validation. And Leon? Dropped me this morning, along with the label." She laughed bitterly. "Karma's quick these days." Sydney appeared at our table, notebook in hand. "Ready for the follow-up interview?" I looked at Hannah. She nodded. For the next hour, we told the whole story. Not just the theft, but the years leading up to it. The pressure, the competition, the grief of losing Dad. "Last question," Sydney said. "What happens now?" Hannah reached across the table, taking my hand. "Now I earn back what I lost. Not the career, my sister." As Sydney packed up, Noel and Victoria joined us. "The studio's booked for today," Noel said. "If you're ready." "For what?" Hannah asked. I pulled out my phone, showing her the song I'd been working on since last night. It's about sisters, about forgiveness, about finding our own voices. Together? Hope flickered in her eyes. Together. But this time we do it right. At the studio, Hannah stood behind the microphone, vulnerable without her usual performance armour. I sat at the piano. "From the top," Noel directed. We played through the song, my words, both our voices, weaving together like they used to when we were kids singing in the backyard. "That's the one," Victoria whispered. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. "Come home for dinner, both of you." At home, Mom had Dad's guitar on the table. "He wanted you both to have this," she said, "to share it, like you used to share everything." Hannah touched the strings gently. "I forgot how to do that. Share." "So, remember," I said, sitting beside her, "we can write new songs, tell new stories. Real ones this time." Sydney's article went live that evening. Sister Act, the truth behind the song, theft scandal. But it wasn't about the scandal anymore. It was about redemption, about 2 sisters finding their way back to each other through music. The industry calls started coming. Talk shows, record deals, documentary requests. But Hannah and I had other plans. "We're booking Dad's favourite venue," I told Noel. Small show, new songs, real stories. Both of you. Both of us. Different songs, different styles, but sharing the stage, like we should have from the start. The last person to leave the studio that night was Leon, trying one last time to spin the situation. Girls, we could market this. The reconciliation, the comeback. Goodbye, Leon, Hannah and I said together. Later at Dad's grave, we played our new song, just us two sisters, two guitars, and the truth. Think he's listening? Hannah asked. I opened the locket, now hanging where it belonged around my neck. He always was. We just weren't always singing, honestly. We are now. And that was the real breakthrough. Not the awards or the acclaim, but the simple power of two sisters finding their voices again, together and separately in harmony and in truth. Just like Dad taught us. Just like we were always meant to be.